Welcome to this explainer. Look, the Kenya Finance Bill 2026 is an absolute monster of a document. We're talking nearly 1,000 pages of dense, complicated legal text. But don't stress about that, because that is exactly why I'm here. We're going to take all that political jargon and break it down into the everyday reality of the common Mwananchi. By the end of this, you're going to know exactly what's actually being proposed, and more importantly, how it's going to affect your wallet on a day-to-day basis.
So let's just get right into it. The single biggest question on everyone's mind right now is, how does this bill actually affect your pocket? We all know the cost of living has been incredibly heavy lately, right? And I think the memory of the 2024 Gen Z protests over the previous tax hikes is still very fresh for all of us. This isn't just distant politics happening in a boardroom. This is literally about your daily survival. Whether you're at the market buying groceries, paying for a matatu, or just trying to get your side hustle off the ground, this proposed bill is going to dictate exactly how far your hard-earned shillings will stretch.
Let's kick things off with the core changes, and the very first one is a massive number, 25%. The bill is proposing a flat 25% tax on mobile phones. But wait, here is the real kicker. In a major structural shift, the new rules completely drop the word imported from the old laws. What does that mean? It means this massive tax applies to locally assembled devices too. So it effectively wipes out that nice tax advantage our local manufacturers used to have. Now, the government officially calls this 25% hit an excise duty. Let's do a super quick jargon buster here. What is that actually? In simple street terms, an excise duty is just a specific extra tax slapped onto certain goods by the government. They usually do it to raise some very quick cash, or sometimes to discourage people from using a certain product. In this particular case, well, it's definitely a major revenue raiser. But the way they are planning to actually collect this tax is really interesting. The bill is set up so that this charge gets triggered the exact moment a phone is activated on a cellular network in Kenya. It's totally usage-based. Now, to be fair, we do need to look at Treasury CS John Mbadi's argument here. He says that by wiping out a bunch of other import fees at the border, like the import declaration fee and the railway development levy, having just this one single 25% activation tax might actually streamline the whole system. And he argues it could potentially lower the overall cost of devices in the long run. Okay, moving on to the second major proposed change, and this one involves the number 16%. The bill is proposing a brand new 16% standard rate tax on digital financial services. This is a big one, guys. It means that software-enabled payment processing, merchant gateways, and digital platform services are all being pulled directly into the tax net. This 16% is specifically a VAT charge. Time for another quick jargon buster. VAT stands for Value Added Tax. Think of it as a consumption tax that gets tacked onto a product or service every single time value is added, all the way down to the moment you hit pay at checkout. So for the everyday citizen, this means sending mobile money, paying for things via digital platforms, or using pay bills is probably going to end up costing you a little bit more every time you hit send. But look, to be brutally honest but fair, it isn't entirely about tax hikes. Let's talk about the direct Mwananchi impact, because there is actually some genuinely good news for commuters that shows how the bill is trying to balance things out. The government is proposing to literally slash the road maintenance levy on petroleum fuels right in half. They want to drop it from 3 shillings down to 1.5 shillings per liter. This cut is designed to lower the overall cost of fuel, which should theoretically translate directly into lower Matatu fares and much cheaper transport costs for all our everyday goods. To really grasp the bigger picture here, we have to understand how this bill is trying to balance its priorities. On one hand, you definitely see an effort by the state to protect basic household survival. Essential everyday foods like bread, eggs, and potatoes are remaining totally exempt from VAT, which is absolutely crucial to shield your basic purchasing power. Clean energy stuff like electric bikes and solar panels also stay protected. But then, on the flip side, we have those targeted areas getting hit with new taxes. The consumer lobby group, COFEC, has actually been warning about this exact strategy, pointing out that taxing mobile phone activations, digital financial services, and betting introduces a lot of hidden, creeping pressures on the modern digital Mwananchi. And while it's great that your daily food is shielded, some of the broader development sectors are definitely facing headwinds. For example, the bill totally removes the VAT exemptions that were in place for materials used in affordable housing. Those construction materials are now going to face that standard 16% VAT. So it's a really mixed economic reality for us. Your food prices might stay relatively steady, but actually building a home or even just renting one could face some serious new cost pressures down the line. So what can you actually do about all of this? Well, remember, Right now, this is strictly a proposed bill. It is not the law yet. You have a fundamental constitutional right to have your say on this. I highly recommend you go read the verified bill on the parliamentary portal. Please, don't just trust whatever rumors are flying around on social media. You can go and submit your views during the public participation windows, and you can actively follow the debates in the National Assembly. The government is aiming for July 2026 to enact this whole shebang, so the time to get involved is literally right now.
The absolutely crucial point I want you to take away is this: your voice genuinely matters. You're now armed with the actual facts about how this bill plans to tax your phone and your digital money, but also how it tries to protect your daily bread and lower your matatu fare. So the question I'm leaving you with today is pretty simple. What will you tell your MP about the 2026 finance bill? Seriously, think about it. Stay informed, get involved, and make absolutely sure your voice is heard. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will see you next time.